Hey, boys and girls,
That's all right.
those and elephants. Weather report for January 5th, 2022. Oh, what day is tomorrow? Tomorrow's a national holiday, right?
It should be. I think that's where the actual insurrection is going to take place. I think the first one was just to get our attention off of when they were really going to do it.
Well, there's no evidence that the insurrection had not taken place, that it didn't work. We don't know.
Well, maybe, yeah, because like more and more people are getting corona. That's a definite policy of the previous administration.
Yeah, there we go. So anyway, let's see. So what's happening today? My birthday again, 25,932 days old. And in 2 days, I'm going to have another kind of birthday. So there's that. How in the fuck? The last year went so quickly. I can't believe how quickly the last year went.
It did go pretty quick. There was barely a 2020.
Yeah, what happened? I don't know.
Yo, Dr. Joyson.
Hey, can you hear me?
Hi, Dr.
I can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you.
I got my, I'm using a different mic. I'm just trying to see if this sounds
clear. You got a big mic. You got like a big 1940s war correspondent mic.
I get tired of like having my headphones on all the time, like on my head, on my ears. It hurts my ears.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I get tired of it because the sound seems to be injecting directly into my brain, and I don't like that. I don't like that feeling. It's kind of strange. Anyway, let's see. So what is going on today? So Gusset Gibbon did a little bit on monkeys and apes, and that is linked in the description.
She did it because she got tired of answering questions about the hierarchies or whatever. Is it cladistics or is it phylogenetic trees or whatever? Anyway, whatever she did, it was really good. I agree.
Yep. So there's that, and then we have Top Dog's excellent website and top picks of the day so far in the description. And we had a little bit on where is it here? The beards impact protection. So apparently this is where the bullshit that Matt Powell talks about with evolutionists teach that beards develop to protect our chins or whatever. This is kind of where it came from. So it's this two people who have a theory.
But don't a lot of MMA athletes have beards?
I'm not sure. I'd have to check.
I don't think so.
Yeah, but anyway, here. So
never mind.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Their only evidence. It would be harder to clean up a cut, I think, if you had a beard. I'd prefer not to have a beard.
Well, that's true. That's true. How do you do that without getting hair all in it? Yep. Thank you, Andrew Cummings, for clearing that up.
Nested hierarchies. Okay, so boy, and he put it in all caps. He's really irritated.
I pissed him off. Wow. So, yesterday I pissed off Jorge, and now I'm pissing off Andrew.
Yeah, that's a pet peeve of Andrew, so be careful.
And he double spaced it too. That takes a lot of.
No, he put a lot of time into spreading the hate.
Well, it takes a lot of anger to do that.
It is. He's an angry young man.
Yeah. Anyway, so now this gets back to our whole thing about natural selection and adaptationism or whatever. But these guys claiming that, it evolved because is always a stretch. And, oh, God, we don't want to get into that whole topic again. But the thing that really pisses me off.
Please, no.
The thing that really pisses me off about the argument coming from the Fodorians is that nobody should be thinking that way anyway. So we don't think that way, and that's not what we're saying. So what are you complaining about? But now these guys are thinking that way, and this one paper, they're making a claim too far, right? They're claiming that beard evolution basically had something to do with the fact that they did some testing and they found out that when you get hit with a beard, you get less damage, that it really has a good buffering quality, right? And we can say that about any kind of fur. But when you think about now, when you speculate about what might have really happened in human evolution to create this beard, right? And you'll see it in some other species too, where they have a pronounced beard, like some other primates. I can't think of which one, but
lions, right? A male lion has that.
Right.
That's what they claim.
But
in
order for that to be in order for that to be naturally selected, okay, you have to consider that, when the traits first started, okay, it could be the case that that there was a gene or a mutation that suddenly lengthened the beard all at once, right? And it had some sort of advantage in the population. But it could also be the case that it was a drift, that basically, because we had bottlenecks, that we drifted, that those genes ended up surviving and the other ones didn't. So it could have been neutral evolution. Now,
exactly.
A far more likely case is that it has something to do with sexual selection. Now, that would happen a little bit faster. But the thing is, when you add up all of these different ways that it could have happened, you cannot say that something evolved for, and you should not say that unless you have some really fucking good evidence.
Well, I think Chris gives the best counter argument to the beard theory.
Hairy balls don't protect.
Yeah.
That is a good counter argument. Anyway, so and of course they said something in the abstract here, and abstracts are always sort of a clickbait sort of thing, right? You do a little clickbaity stuff in your abstract, right? Because you want people to read your paper.
Definitely.
Yeah, and then it ends up becoming, evolutionists are saying that this happened. It's like, no, we're not. Sorry. Okay.
We're going to have to educate Andrew on male lions because he's way off on that. I mentioned male lions because I guess it is, that's the reason why they have that mane, is because of when they fight other male lions. Of course, they're fighting with each other, right, over females, right? And that's why they have that big mane. It protects their neck. But at least they claim that. I don't know. But, yeah.
And I think sexual selection would work a hell of a lot better than the impact resistance idea or whatever.
Well, if you had a really... never mind. That's stupid. Never mind. Forget it.
But anyway, we're speculating because natural selection should be concerned with groups of genes and nothing else, with genomes and nothing else. So anyway, anybody up for a little Matt Powell?
Sure.
Let me go get something liquid that will help me tolerate it.
Yeah, you need that, definitely.
Okay. Do we have to wait for you to have two drinks?
Not wine.
Continue.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and do that then. Oh.
Then you go complain to other people. Oh, Matt's taking advantage of me.
Really? I don't remember complaining to anyone about you, Matt.
Dude, you will go to hell!
Well, lucky me. I look forward to it, Matthew. Oh, damn, hell's not real though, is it?
I'm not joking.
No, I know, I can tell.
Look at me.
Who is this?
You think I am yelling too hard?
It seems a little bit excessive to me.
You have lost your mind!
Well, maybe I have, but it's your fault because
who
you
is this?
uploading videos that
Okay, this is a 24-year-old on top of
Yes,
it.
Matt Powell.
Kind of
Matt, is this Matt? This is Matt Powell.
that ain't
The guy that's screaming. Yes.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right.
Yeah, this is Creaky Blinder, who I spotted him before, but apparently I'm not subscribed. What the hell?
Yeah,
Do I
he's got a
fix
lot
this
of
yet?
subs. He's like, what, 50-something thousand? Yeah.
58,000. Yeah.
Yeah. Big channel.
Anyway.
I want to respond to,
You're gonna talk to me.
but I don't want to.
You're gonna talk to me right now.
I'm trying to, but you keep shouting over me.
You're crazy. You are insane. You have lost your mind, Jeremy.
Jeremy? Who the f*** Jeremy?
And I love you too much just to sit here and say, oh, well, you're fine.
Thank you, Matt. I love you too. Well, no, that's not technically true. I don't actually love you, but I do love making videos about you. Please subscribe.
Carbon-14 dating is a way of determining the age of certain archaeological artifacts of a biological origin up to about 50,000 years old. So I'm just going to go ahead and ask the question, why is it then that we find carbon-14 inside of dinosaur bones that are supposedly 65 million years old? I would like an answer to that.
We don't. Fossils are mostly found embedded in sedimentary rocks. So to determine the age of the sedimentary rock layers, researchers first have to find neighboring layers of Earth that include igneous rock, such as volcanic ash. Now, these layers are like bookends. They give a beginning and an end to the period of time when the sedimentary rock layer was formed. And by using radiometric dating to determine the age of the igneous brackets, researchers can accurately determine the age of the sedimentary layers in between them.
People say dinosaurs died out 65 million years ago. Really? There's C14 inside the bones. According to this article, which is a scientific paper, it says that carbon-14 only lasts 50,000 years in any organism that it dies in.
Carbon-14.
Okay. I don't want to play this whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to link it because everybody should go watch it and give him the credit, right? But he's pretty cool. So I like it so far.
What a joke.
Anyway. You agree with that?
Yeah, that's fine. Yep. He's doing something right. He's got 58,000 subscribers, so he's doing something right.
That's pretty good.
What the hell? You know, some people get like bunches of subscribers, and they're just morons. Like, no, seriously.
Yeah.
Like, look at that.
Yep.
Dolio the Pilot Man, the guy that Otangelo talked to, that talks about astrology. He has like 150,000 subscribers, and I've been on his live streams before, and people have called in to talk to him. And I'm not kidding you. Person after person after person after person are literally out of their fucking minds.
Yeah.
Like literally don't know what they don't know what universe they're in, and he has 150,000 subscribers. Easy.
Well,
yeah.
my sister listens to a channel where they unclog sewer drains. This guy videos himself unclogging sewer drains.
He's got like 1 million views.
Million views.
Well, that's a niche. That's a niche programming market.
Yeah, and the guy claims he's making about $40,000 a month on his channel.
Yeah, I believe it.
I once got addicted to a channel that you just watch the guy make pastries in fast speed, in high speed, and I'd loved it. He would put some background music to it, and it was just awesome. And he quit doing it for some reason, but he could easily get thousands and thousands of viewers if he left that stuff on there and made new content.
Yeah.
But
Creaky Blinder, hey.
I don't think it's hard to do. I just think that like you have to be willing to spend time doing this. Like you have to have a good idea. You have to have a good concept to be able to convey. You have to know how to market it. If you have all those things and you have the time to do it, you can get a lot of viewers. But you have to have good content, and the content has to be very like seductive,
Yep.
So, Speed, I have pictures of the bearded apes and monkeys if you want to see some.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
well, there you go.
Yeah, there they are. Yeah, so I mean, it isn't
the orangutan.
Or it's just a feature that didn't go away.
Exactly.
And then you
That's
have
that's
monkey
exactly right.
that has a mustache beard.
I like that mustache. He needs a little wax on it, but I could really, I could really see that.
And then another that has a lion mane, like.
Yep. Yeah, so I mean, That
What's
one
that? Is that
has
a beard? What
weird.
is that?
what the hell is going on with that guy?
Or is it a monkey with
that's
the
a weird
mumps?
one, yeah.
He's got
I can't
elephant
remember.
legs.
That is a wild looking one, huh? Never
Wow.
seen one like that.
If only Erica
Got
were
like
here
a
to identify
human-
it for us.
Almost like a human face, doesn't it?
There's a lot of these primates that have very human-looking faces.
That's
Very
Bigfoot. Right
expressive.
They're apes, so.
I wonder why.
Okay.
Touch of God.
Those are all the pictures
Yeah, cool.
Very
that
impressive.
I wanted to show.
We're going to leave you full screen just to make you nervous. How about that?
Hey, did you see that Bigfoot? Was it Bigfoot last night? A Bigfoot debate?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. Who
Is
was
there
in
good
it?
evidence for Bigfoot?
It was Pat from Squatch Talk, and I
Yeah,
guess
Talk? What?
yeah, you know that guy?
No, I don't know what Squatch Talk is. That's
You don't know.
Sounds like
Squatch?
Sasquatch, so
Yeah.
they're talking about Bigfoot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Squatch
Yeah.
Talk.
Or Jorge, you know Jorge? You know Jorge?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's-
okay. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah,
Jorge.
he goes Jorge, what the fuck? I don't know. He was over there. And he goes over to Squatch Talk a lot and talks to those guys.
Yeah. Brainbug does too, I think.
Brain
So
Bug,
this was a
yeah.
live stream
Yep.
that was last night.
Correct. Yeah. It was supposed to be
It was on MDD. Yeah.
Yeah, it was supposed to be this guy, Pat versus Tom, jump, but Tom bailed. And then they had Alex Stein fill in for Tom. You know what? I swear to God, I think James really likes Alex. James has Alex Stein on a lot. James, the way that James looks at things is really interesting. I'd like to interview James myself because, why would you want to constantly have folks like Alex Stein on your show? Or if you have somebody fail or somebody doesn't show up, you're like, let's go. Hey, Alex, you want to fill in? I mean, maybe it's just because Alex
Because
does
he
this show a
will.
lot.
Right.
Yeah,
He'll
exactly.
do anything. Right.
Yeah.
So when he's in a jam,
And it
he's
makes
gonna,
more views.
Yeah. I mean,
And he
he
gets
wanted
more
to put that
views, yeah.
show on, right? He wanted
And
to put
as
the show on.
a host, you're going to go the one who says yes the most. So
Yep.
I mean, as much as I like Squatch Talk and Pat, they never really present any actual legit evidence or actually
Right.
have any serious conversations about the topic. They do very briefly, but not really. So whatever. It was just kind of background noise, I guess.
the place I go for talk about Sasquatches or creatures in the woods or whatever it's called MrBallen, Ballen on YouTube, and that's his whole deal. He just tells stories, and some of them are have to do with creatures out in the woods or strange things knocking on your cabin door at night. But what he's trying to do is work on his storytelling skills, and so sometimes he'll package them as true stories, but these are campfire kind of stories that he's telling. And so those are the most amazing and wonderful, and it's based on stuff people believe in already, and it's good stuff. MrBallen, he's a former Navy SEAL. So he has a lot of diving stories too, because he used to spend a lot of time diving.
I mean,
half truths. Harder to debunk. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry, Top Dog. I was running my mouth.
I'm saying that half truths are harder to debunk because they put some real life things that we can understand, and then they put their myth or imagination or misunderstandings in the other half. That's
always the best. The best lies or the best stories are always the ones that have truth weaved in with them. That's what Trump is so good at. It's why he's such a good bullshitter. This is what bullshitters do. They weave in truth with lies. And so you don't know which is which. And it just sounds so convincing because some of it is actually true, but some of it's not. That's the art of a good bullshitter.
Here's MrBallen.
MrBallen.
MrBallen. I linked him in the description for anybody that's interested. So
yeah, it's a fun site.
Yeah, okay. I'll check it out.
And does he actually do true cryptid story or actual cryptid stories, or he just makes it?
Yes, but it's not mostly about cryptids. It's about good, thrilling kind of stories, and some will get your attention, others won't. Okay. So he's got a lot of content though, and let's see, what was the one?
Because Brainbug does that. Obviously, you guys have seen that.
Yeah, he does
a little cryptid Corey
Yeah,
does.
that's
on
great
his channel,
stuff.
Oh, I know this guy.
Yeah,
This guy.
right. He does stuff on
okay.
TikTok as well, I believe.
I think he does. Doesn't he do crime stuff or crime stories or something? Or I don't know.
Maybe
I've
he's
seen
also
him
done
before.
this stories that he gets out of this book series called Missing 411 about
Oh, yeah,
that guy.
Yeah,
yeah.
I know him. Yeah.
You know, all of these things. I just to say this. See if I can say this succinctly. All these things where humans don't understand something, like that. I've mentioned this before, that the human mind is just really good at filling in the gaps. We're really good at like not knowing what we're seeing, but trying to make sense of it, and even like making sense of something when that's not what it is. So that's what we're doing with Bigfoot. That's what we're doing with issues with COVID. That's what we're doing with God. That's what we're doing with climate change. That's what we're doing with vaccines. We don't know some aspect of it, and people want to fill in the gaps. So they're like, vaccines make me grow a third head, or, I can't explain where life comes from. It must be a God. We don't have the proof for that. I've got to fill in the gaps. There's got to be an answer, so that's, it would be really interesting to have an academic talk, maybe like have somebody come on and talk about this, like why people do this. Like why do people use their imagination to fill in the gaps? Like why does the brain do that?
Yeah, like if you get a pain, like a sudden sharp pain in your head, it's like, oh no, I have an aneurysm or stroke. Or if you've got a pain for a couple days in your hip or something, it's cancer. I mean, there are people that go to that very often, and the older you get, the more you're going to do that.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's yeah. Sorry.
But I mean, it's actually a good mechanism because you are searching for answers. But if you land on one of those answers and you start to believe it, that's where you fucked up. Right. It's like I'm having a little. We had a slight conversation with Ozzy in the comment section of that last video about calling ourselves evolutionists, and he's saying that it doesn't automatically imply that you're not being skeptical, and it's a title that we should embrace, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think I do, and I don't, because I don't consider myself an evolutionist, because there's no place in my mind where I'm proving evolution or where I'm saying this is how it happened, even though I believe it, right? But I don't believe it with enough force to call myself an evolutionist, right? What I believe in is each individual step that I learn about and find out about, right? What I believe in is the mutational mechanisms in DNA and the recombination and natural selection, and I believe in all of that stuff. But I wouldn't I wouldn't stamp myself as an evolutionist for some reason. I don't. It just seems wrong-headed to do that. I don't know why. It's because I have this constant looking. I'm always looking for how it happened. So if I'm so sure it happened, why would I keep looking, constantly? I don't know. It just seems like it almost seems like tying a bow around your belief and saying, that's it. I've decided I'm done. I'm not done. I'm never going to be done. So
how did you like the conversation with Ozzy? Did you enjoy that?
Oh, it went somewhere. It was easy to talk to him, and he explained things really well. He explained his position really well. And I totally disagree with him on this whole photo thing. But I agree. I agree with all of the mechanics of that argument. Okay. And always have agreed with the mechanics of that argument.
Yeah.
But nobody is fucking saying that. So
right. I have the same problem.
Yeah. Except, we just found a paper where they are saying that. And this is a good cautionary, tale, right? That, we shouldn't be talking about, this thing evolved for this or that function or whatever, because when you look into it, there's a lot of other stuff. There's a lot of details that you're going to miss if you think that natural selection works like that. So, but anyway, so I disagree with the flavor that Fodor attacked evolution. I disagree with some of his style of producing it. That's probably the crux of the matter, and that's why biologists' heads blow up when somebody talks to them about it. But I don't know. It's been a hell of a journey, though.
Why? I mean, I asked Ozzy this question. I mean, I think he kind of answered it. Why do scientists' heads blow up when they read Fodor?
That's
why.
That's what is the interesting part. Yes, and it relates to why did you quit beating, or when did you quit beating your wife, or whatever, or what is the expression? I forgot what the expression is.
Well, I mean.
Yeah, when did you quit beating your wife?
Yeah, when did you quit beating your wife? It's like, yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, wait a minute, we weren't saying that to begin with, so why are you, and it's the same as this junk DNA problem, right? It is exactly the same argument as junk DNA, where the creationists will say, oh, there's no junk DNA and whatever, and they come at it and they're saying something about what is not junk DNA, which is not at all what we're saying at all. So but the thing is, when we start defending the idea of junk DNA, we're not behind that anyway. And they almost get us to defend something that we don't want to defend because they accuse us of doing it, and they do it in such a way that they're missing a whole lot of mechanics and details, right? So it's almost like they reduce the conversation to this one thing. When did you quit beating your wife? And you're like, wait a minute, I don't beat my wife, or, I didn't quit beating my wife or whatever. It just kind of throws you off. And it's the same thing with junk DNA, because all DNA definitely does something in every single cell. Every single nucleotide does something, right? But it doesn't do the things the creationists want it to do. It doesn't have some strictly designed function to do, X, Y, and Z. That's the problem. Okay, looking at, you see the list I have on the screen right now. Okay, coding exons. These are the things that actually have code in them, and those amount to 0.8% of the human genome. So that's 0.8% of 1%, 0.8 of 1%, right? That is the part that has code in it. Now, the rest of these things, they do other things. Those coding exons are more highly conserved in the genome. If you look across species, you'll find that there are less mutations. And the reason for that is because of purifying natural selection. Okay. That's why you're going to end up with far less mutations across species. But then if you look at, you look down here now, internal introns are the vast, huge spaces that eukaryotes have developed between the exons of genes. So all genes are broken up into exons and introns. So they have the coding part, and then they'll have a long stretch where it's not coding at all. And that's called an intron. Okay. And that gets spliced out. But now if you look inside the intron, okay, and you say, oh, the intron is junk. Well, no, not totally, because some parts of that intron are heavily involved in how the genes are spliced. So there has to be signals inside of that intron that tell you how to splice it out. It kind of self excises itself. It cuts itself out, but it's a very small area. And then you'll also find in introns that sometimes there's a goddamn gene in there going the other way, or there's a small piece of regulatory RNA if you read the gene backwards, and that will end up having some effect on whether or not that gene is expressed. So it's far more complicated than that. But then again, what you want to do is look at these introns, and you're going to find out that for the most part, these introns are far less conserved than those coding exons up there. So do you want to call that junk? Well, that's kind of a little too black and white. Okay, you don't want to say that. Okay, and then we go down and we have untranslated regions, which consist of exons and introns. And the untranslated regions, the 5' are at the beginning of the gene, and those things, they have a function and they get attached to the mRNA, but then when it comes down to translating that mRNA into a protein, they're not used, so they're untranslated. And then there's a 3' end that, that has the same thing going on. So now that stuff is far less conserved, but there's signals in there that are very, very important. So those have to be there too. But they're, less conserved. And then intergenic DNA. Okay. You'll notice that these percentages do not add up to 1. They're above 1 because mobile genetic elements and intergenic DNA kind of overlap a little bit. So that's why it's more than 1. So intergenic DNA is just huge spaces in between genes, and you'll find them all over the place. And then you have conserved non-coding DNA, and that is there for a number of reasons. Some of it's epigenetic, a lot of it's basically small RNAs basically are read from that. And then, of course, we have pseudogenes, which amount to 0.7% of all the genes. And those are usually copies of genes where the gene got copied in such a way that it no longer has any function. It either doesn't transcribe or something goes wrong. And then look at that, 44.6% are those little fucking viruses that hop around in your genome. Now, are those junk? No, some of those actually do something. And overall, if you look at DNA as a big thread, big thread just wound around, sometimes the length of the thread is important. So that if you end up with too many of those intergenic regions or mobile genetic elements, the thread will have gotten too long and all of a sudden the cell doesn't function. And purifying selection will kill that particular line, right? So you can't even say that that's completely junk. It does something. And the other thing about mobile genetic elements, they've been around for 300 million years. Some of those have function now. They've mutated themselves into some reasonable function. So when they say, oh, there is no junk DNA, or when they bait you into this argument, you end up, you want to argue your position, but you sure as hell don't want to argue for junk DNA because we don't want to call it that anymore. So we want to call it more, I don't know what we want to call it, the workshop, the whole story. The whole story is so much more complicated. So anyway, that's my little talk on Junkyard DNA.
You could just call it non-coding regions. Right?
Well, yeah, but that's, but no, it's more complicated than that. Well, yeah, if we call it non-coding regions, here's the coding regions, AJ, and that only amounts to 0.8%. But these other things, they have function, a lot of function. The untranslated regions do. Some of the intergenic DNA does. The conserved non-coding DNA, that's 1.6%, highly functional. So it's really difficult to. It's just a bad way to talk about it. And if you get baited into that junk DNA argument, you've been baited into a when did you quit beating your wife conversation with a creationist, and it's just not going to go well. So
I understand what you're saying, Speed. However, the average population of the public, they are only going to understand a certain fraction of what the actual science is. And so you kind of are stuck with these talking points sometimes. So it might be better to make the best of a bad situation and know how to talk your way around a talking point that you expect to get like this and be able to explain what the actual science is rather than, because the science is always going to be more complicated than what the creationist or whoever on the other side is oversimplifying it and coming to you with.
Yeah, and and there are people that are really artful at coming up with good analogies that will explain what's going on. And of course, I'm not. I get down and dirty into the details, but I don't think it's hopeless. I think with this little list of things, I think a good science educator could explain that to anybody, to a sixth grader. So it isn't quite that hopeless. So we have to keep trying, and we have to understand what we're talking about. But I think if you want to talk about talking points, what we should be talking about is conserved and non-conserved DNA. DNA that, that has to be the way it is, because the order of the nucleotides really makes a difference. And then the unconserved stuff where, it doesn't matter that much, Yeah, but even that gets a little fuzzy. So I don't know. Hi, Wildart.
Oh,
So I muted. Hello.
Hello.
What is conserved DNA? I don't know what that is.
Oh, okay. So conserved DNA. So if you compare, if you take two species that are separated by some distance, but they're related. So like they separated maybe 6 million years ago. Okay. And you compare the two strings of DNA, you'll find that some things are absolutely identical. And then okay, let's approach it this way. If I were to sample every human being and get their DNA, right, and lay them along, lay one string after another, and I compared it, I would find that some sections of that DNA are absolutely identical. And I would find that other sections seem to vary all over the place. And we have perfectly viable human beings, but they have very, very different nucleotides at that particular part, right? Those are called unconserved. So it doesn't seem to matter if they mutate or not, is what we're saying. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I saw you were talking about my video about the genetics, and where he said that you can make every human again with one chromosome.
Speed, you're echoing.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was pretty funny.
Did you hear that? You're echoing again.
Oh, okay. No, I shouldn't be echoing. Damn it. We resolved this.
Do you have headphones?
I do. We resolved this. We fixed this. We spent a long time backstage fixing this, and it's still echoing?
Testing. Yes, it is.
Well, it restarted.
I'm leaving and coming back. I'll see you in a minute.
Okay, I am now in charge of this stream. So
there you go.
What I've decided.
Oh my God, it's a takeover.
Are you canceling
I've
everybody?
taken over the stream.
You're gonna cancel everybody?
Everyone.
No.
Okay. I am canceling Speed.
Okay.
Are you?
Canceled.
Yeah, you should cancel.
Invite Danny real quick before Speed's back. Oh shit! Sorry, Speed.
I see what you're trying to do there, Jason.
Ow.
You're not going to get away with it. Anyway.
But yeah, I appreciate you showing some of that video about the genetics with Kent Hovind, where I had Dr. Dan on there.
Yeah.
I really liked how that video turned out.
So what do you got coming up?
Well, I just filmed a collaboration video with Emma Thorne yesterday, if you're familiar with her channel.
Oh, no. Really? Oh, my God.
Yeah. So that video is going to come out a little bit later this month. In the meantime, I'm going to be doing a video talking about Kent Hovind and his legal case with Robert Beatty, if you know him.
Nope.
Yeah, he runs this Facebook group that's keeps up to date with all of the stuff about Kent Hovind and his legal case and all that stuff. And he's a former IRS agent, so he's familiar with the law. And Kent Hovind really doesn't like him, of course. But yeah, I'm really excited about that video because it's really funny. If you've seen the videos back and forth with Emma and Kent, she really gets under his skin. He seems to hate young, independent women, especially if they're British, like Rachel Oates. So
yeah, you can imagine if he were in control, you can imagine how he would treat people like that.
Yeah. So he's like trying to do his whole song and dance about, like, debate me, bro. But she's like doesn't even really make videos about evolution or anything. So it's like,
No, yeah.
it just seems like Kent is just trying to latch on to atheists who are have a lot of viewers and subscribers. Of course, Kent said I have 7 viewers in one of his recent videos, which I thought was pretty funny.
He had 7 viewers?
He said that I have 7 viewers.
Oh, okay. How many viewers does he get on his stuff? Does he get a lot?
Like, he has almost 200K subs, but his videos are usually about 11,000 views or so.
Okay. I can only dream of 7 viewers. That's impressive.
Yeah, I appreciate every one of my viewers. I think I've got a good audience, the people who watch my videos. So.
Yeah. Oh, Erica's here. Got sick gibbon.
Atheist Junior, if you can put your link in the private chat, I'm not sure if I'm subbed under this account.
What was that?
If Atheist Junior can put his link in the private chat, I'm not sure if I'm subbed or not. That's all. Cheers.
Yeah, if you want to talk about subscribers, Erica is almost at 20K, which is just crazy. Like her channel has grown so much since her documentary video came out, and I'm really happy for her success.
Yeah. I think Emma Thorne has what, about 50K? Something like that?
She has like 40K.
40K, okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. She does really, really entertaining stuff. So good takedowns.
Yeah, I put that link in there. And she's also a member of the Church of Satan, which I didn't know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wait, who's a member of the Church of Satan?
Emma Thorne.
Emma Thorne.
Oh, well, you're Satan.
I think everybody should be a member of that church, right?
Well, have you read the 10 Commandments of Satanism?
Oh shit, AJ, no. Where the fuck have you been, man? I was worried about you.
Yeah,
I've been working on my channel, so I've been kind of busy.
We thought you canceled us.
I didn't cancel you just because I haven't been on. Does that mean I canceled you guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
AJ, I get that too. It's like people are like, "Hey, how come you didn't get back to me?" And I'm like, "I was working."
Well, hey, you have an excuse. AJ doesn't. Just
Jason, I need to talk to you. I'm like, wait a second.
I don't know who you're talking about, Jason. I don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, you have like another job outside of YouTube, right? Like doing academic stuff. So I don't I just do YouTube.
Yeah. He's a degree snob. Jason's a degree snob.
There's a whole new class of people called YouTube bums, and I'm one of those.
Okay, Jason, I need to ask you something. Why have you slowly over time grown a beard? Like I remember meeting you with, it was all, you were like clear cut, and now you have a beard like Santa Claus.
People kept commenting on his chin, so he decided to cover it up, but it's actually making it more pronounced.
Yeah, you still have the chin.
It's a COVID beard.
Yeah, so.
I mean,
I think it looks
COVID,
good.
COVID should not be an excuse not to shave. All right, you can do that in your bathroom. You don't need to go out.
Everybody I know, like everybody close to me is like, you need to shave your beard. That thing is out of control. You got to get rid of it. Yeah. So.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like this. I have a mustache and a beard because I'm too fucking lazy to shave.
Of course you are, you cracker. Of course you're lazy.
You be careful with that. You can get banned from Twitch for saying that word.
This isn't Twitch.
For saying shaved?
For saying cracker.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Okay, the gene in intimate history. Okay, you know what? I'm definitely adding this to the... What the hell?
Yeah, what?
Here we go again.
I'm adding this to... Okay, why the hell am I hearing myself back?
Okay, we can't hear you. Are we echoing again?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck me.
I don't know if you guys have ever done this experiment where I think there's like a website or some app where you put on headphones and you talk and you hear your own voice back in your ears as you talk, and it's almost impossible to keep talking for some reason. There's a setting on OBS where you can actually trigger this to happen, and I tried doing it, and it's really weird. Like you just can't, like, for some reason, the way your brain works, it makes it almost impossible to talk. It's really bizarre. But it was happening to me when Speed was echoing earlier.
Am I echoing now?
I don't think so.
Yes, maybe. I don't know.
No.
It's only when other people talk.
But you can hear me, which is good. That's good.
Yeah.
So, Scott, you still with us? Good.
I'm still with us, and the Brainbug just entered the room.
Brainbug.
Hello, Bimble.
Hello, Brainbug.
Hello, Midnight. Wild
Do you need something, Speed?
Do I? No, I don't. I
Oh,
was just checking to see if you're still around. Because
No, I won't leave till about 5 till 5 Central Standard Time.
Okay. So what's happening, Bug?
Oh, just got off a little bit early today, so I figured Speed's probably going. Let's go ahead and.
You got
check
any
it out.
Sasquatch news?
Yeah.
Well, I was asked by a couple of people to go on Modern Day Debate last night and debate Pat about Sasquatch, but I guess Alex
He beat you to
Stein
it.
did it instead. And it's kind of funny to hear somebody who's so conspiratorial minded reject the prospect of Sasquatch. Somebody who doesn't,
really,
a geocentrist of all things, rejecting that an unknown hominid might live in the forest. Which, yeah. But as far as new news, it's always the same blurry photos.
more blurry photos where the cameraman had his eyes crossed.
Right.
Hey, Brainbug, I hope you're doing well, or at least better than you were.
Yeah, I'm doing quite a bit better. Thank you for your concern, though. I had a kind of a downward spiral there for a while, but I think I'm on the upward swing now. But we'll see how long it lasts. So I gotta appreciate my friends who've been there to support me the whole time. I know AJ has been pretty supportive on the back end. Me and AJ talk a bit in Twitter, and he gave me.
AJ's been ignoring me for months. I know he's been working on his channel, but it was like, dude, where the hell were you?
Well, AJ's a superstar now. We gotta.
Well, yeah,
keep that
of
in
course
mind.
he is. Of course he is. He's got like them Patreons. They give him money.
Were you sick, Bug, or just depressed?
Just depressed.
Just depressed.
Yeah, I have pretty severe depression and anxiety that kind of get to me from time to time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Well,
depression
as I
is
said,
the worst.
It is. Well, as I said, there are ways to mitigate that, or mediate, or whatever the hell word is right.
Yeah.
Right,
Depression
yeah.
is. Yeah. I've been dipping in and out like every 2 days. Suddenly, it into depression. It hit me this morning, and I just went to sleep for a couple hours and woke up, and it goes away, but it'll be back. So it just hangs around, jumps on you.
Yeah, that's what sucks is that I feel normal most of the time, but then like I'll randomly have depressive episodes where I know that I feel shitty because of my brain chemistry, and I could have nothing bad going on, but it just doesn't matter. It's just like, well, this sucks, and I know I just have to basically wait. Well, just able to function and able to
I know.
being interested in the things that I enjoy. Because that's when I'm depressed, is when I can't get excited about the stuff I usually enjoy doing.
Well, here's the thing here's the thing that really helps me with depression is if I look at it as a natural part of my life and a natural function of my body, that my body is doing this for good reasons. And I accept it and say, okay, my body's saying, slow the fuck down. And so I slow down and I eat more and try to do less, and don't sit there and say, oh, I'm missing out on all the things I used to be interested. No, I'm not. I mean, if I get rid of all the internal dialogue that goes with depression, it ends up hitting me like, I don't know if you've ever got a mild case of flu where you actually kind of enjoy it because you have an excuse to just lay around, and get some sleep. And I started looking at depression more as a positive than as a negative. And the amazing fucking thing is it goes away sooner when you look at it that way. It usually goes away after you get some rest. And I don't know if I'm on to something or not, but anyway, if you struggle with it, consider that it's your body actually doing something that your body needs.
So I got to ask: people here who suffer with depression, does it ever come with a nice dose of imposter syndrome?
Oh hell yeah! Oh, fuck yeah!
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, I would.
Imposter syndrome.
I think imposter syndrome is my daily orientation towards the world.
Yep.
But hold on. But here's the thing. How can you make sure it's actually imposter syndrome and not something else? Because aren't you self-diagnosing at that point?
Well, you are. You have to. If you really think it's imposter syndrome, probably need to get that diagnosed.
You can recognize when you have imposter syndrome. I mean,
by that, hold on, Speed. By that logic, you can recognize when you have when you have other mental illnesses.
Yeah, sometimes you can.
Let's be clear real quick that imposter syndrome is not a diagnosis. There's no diagnosis.
Yeah,
okay.
Right,
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, it's not a mental illness.
No, it's not a mental illness, but it is studied. People,
I think it's a prerequisite to being a good programmer that you have imposter syndrome, because it just comes with the territory, and the better you are at programming, I think the worse it will be, because you can always see how fucking bad you really are compared to what you imagine you could be or whatever. I don't know.
I mean I need a definition.
I mean, look. Yes. My Speed understands this. So I'll bet Speed has had both of these situations occur, where one, he's had all these people look at his code and look at what he's done and has said, "You are a genius. Nobody has done anything like this. This is unbelievable." And then, alternatively, he's gone and sat with somebody else and looked at their code, and he looked at their code and he thought of his. He looked at his code and he's like, "Holy shit, my code sucks so bad."
Yeah.
So we all have this experience. Imposter syndrome is very common, particularly among academics.
Yeah, and the rotten part about it is between those two scenarios where your code is shit and your code is genius. You oscillate between those two things about 20 times a day if you're on a
project. Can I read something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. What is imposter syndrome? Imposter syndrome, IS, refers to an internal experience of believing that you are not as competent as others perceive you to be. Yeah. While this definition is usually narrowly applied to intelligence and achievement, it has links to perfectionism and social context. Looks like I have something else to research. Yay, me.
Is that like when I think about, do the people who subscribe to me know that I'm a fraud? Do they realize what they've done?
Yes.
I'm just kidding.
Have you ever heard? I just think other people know I'm useless, so I don't. Yeah, it doesn't apply to me.
Yeah, I think mine's more my professional field though, because you all hear me ramble, right? I ramble about bugs and animals and biology and all that stuff, and I'll go on and on about it. So in my professional life, I do that, but I'm rambling about drugs and different situations and in whatever it comes down to. But I'm going on and on about that about drugs. But I always feel like people think that I'm trying to play doctor with them.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, I love psychology. I love learning about the different different conditions and all that.
And psychology loves you, Midnight.
I mean, I am quite good at it.
Yeah.
So I can't show videos anymore, but Bread of Life just had Lance Bush on right before from 2 to 4, I think. Something like that.
Lance Bass?
What's that?
Lance Bass?
Bush.
Oh, I know.
Oh.
What's the difference?
I missed it. Over my
Backstreet Boys or something like that.
Okay. Everybody. Sorry.
Anyway, I believe I'm going to try to premiere a talk with Lance Bush that I had tomorrow on the back end of that.
I'm sorry. Lance Bass was not in Backstreet Boys. He was in NSYNC.
So, oh my gosh.
I didn't say anything about Lance Bass.
Everyone knows that.
Okay. What is a Backstreet Boy? Is that like, I used to belong to a gang. like that. I think we were Backstreet Boys.
A Backstreet Boys,
Okay.
is a robot created by the music industry to sell music to horny teenage girls. There you go.
Okay, the gang I belonged to was a really badass gang. We'd go to bars, and about halfway through the night, the bartender would pick us up by the seat of the pants and scruff of the neck and throw us in the back street, all of us. And so we became a gang out there, and we would commiserate, and we were the Backstreet Boys.
Did you have good choreography though? That's the important thing to be able to make it in the industry.
I think once I saw a video, and no, the answer is no. It looked pretty bad. So
we could start our own gang if we get some choreography down.
Yeah. Go ahead, Speed. Who is Lance Bush? Sounds like a porn star.
You know what it does? Lance Bush.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay. What? AJ brought it up. I just took it home.
I guess I can use StreamYard the old way and share a screen. Let me see. I remember how to do this.
But I'm gonna go for a bit, like I usually do, but only I'm not gonna leave. I'm gonna say I'm gonna leave.
Well, you actually told us that you're leaving.
Usually you just disappear at midnight.
Yep. Yeah.
You can't leave midnight. You got detention. You got to stay there.
Okay. I want to make a comment about about the guy on the right, but you know what? I'll save it for off air.
Yeah, you better not, because he's a friend of mine. So.
I just, you know what? I'm just gonna go. Bye.
Okay. Anyway, he works in meta ethics, and he, oh God, I forgot which university, Cornell. He's working on his PhD, and he studies meta ethics, and he has a lot to say about studies and how we study ethics and stuff like that. So it was a really interesting talk. But Rebecca had him on. I think this is the second time he's been on Rebecca's channel. So anyway.
And Rebecca is a super, super nice lady.
Yeah.
She's really nice.
She is. Yep. Pretty cool.
Did you see Jackson Wheat's video with her? I still haven't seen it.
Oh yeah, I watched a little bit of it. Well, no, I think I watched the whole damn thing.
And, I watched her interact with Demeter. I haven't seen her talking to Jackson.
Yeah. Yep.
Have you seen PZ Myers did a stream that had Arn Ra on it and Emma Thorne and Peter?
Oh yes, we covered it, or we talked about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh really? Of course, I wasn't invited, but I mean, I'm not salty or anything.
Didn't you have a stream at the schedule at the same time? I know. Yeah, I saw that too.
I moved mine to earlier in the day, so I had been streaming for a whole hour before that came on anyway. But
yeah.
By the way, Gur is really ill, and we should all keep him in our prayers.
Oh no, that sucks.
I was watching some horrifying video today about maybe it was the fire in Colorado, and the police chief said we should keep these people in our prayers. And I wanted to ask him, what the fuck do you mean by that? And why would you want to do that? Why don't you just go out and look for these people?
What happens if you don't?
We get chain email or company-wide emails. It's like, so-and-so's grandma died. Please
pray
keep
for
them in
them.
your thoughts and prayers. It's like,
what does that mean? God damn it. I mean,
okay, just hypothetically, when you're praying for somebody who just lost a family member, what are you praying for that to happen?
Right. Get them back.
That the body doesn't decay as quickly.
Yeah. Resurrection. We're praying for resurrection, I think, or something.
Maybe the person has an emotional recovery. I suppose you could be praying for after losing someone.
Well, if you look at my Buddhist style of prayer, what I pray for is acceptance. Basically. And so that is something you can pray for. So if somebody loses a family member, the best prayer you can do for them, and of course prayer isn't going to do any fucking good at all, is for acceptance. What you're really praying for is for you to accept what happened to them, because prayer is only going to affect what's in your mind and nothing else, nothing outside of it. So
You know, the direction of this conversation would lead one to believe that we anticipate that Gurr is going to die from his illness.
Oh yeah, well, there's hope, but
And then we'll all have to mourn.
Can I get canceled for that? No. Anyway, yeah,
How
there's
did Peter not invite you to that. That's crazy that you didn't get an invite to that conference, because I know you and Peter were working pretty close hand in hand when you were getting going.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to even comment on it because like I really don't care, but I do find it a little bit odd just because like Peter is the producer for R and Raw and my channel, and to have both of them on, and I don't know, it's just more confusing than anything. But and plus, PZ has featured my channel on his website, but I don't want to complain because like my channel has gotten a lot of exposure in the past year, so it's really not a big deal. It's just more confusing.
I'm sure PZ didn't have any malicious intent on who he invited to it. He had just tweeted or did his blog about Emma, and so
it was about Emma. The whole stream was. So.
And then so it was about Emma's engagement with Kent, but
Andrew Cumming is so funny. So he's hilarious.
Yeah.
Anyway, by the way, Gurr is starting to feel better though. But he was ill for a while. So
anyway. Did he have COVID or something else?
I don't know if he.
Is it too early to order flowers?
Yes. Yeah. Don't order flowers for Gurr.
Is it too early to start celebrating?
But, you know, the great thing is that Gurr Streams has been quiet for a week, and God bless us all. Anyway. He's fine.
Well,
he is fine.
I wish him the best, a speedy recovery with whatever he has.
Yeah,
with whatever he has. He'll tell you all about it when he gets
back. There's so much that he could be sick with right now going around. I know there's 2 flu viruses that have been in my area, plus 3 strains of COVID, and
there's a new thing called Flovid or Fluvid or some fucking thing they're talking about where you get both at the same time.
Really? Woo.
Well, Colbert talked about it. It was a joke, but I think it was based on something real where somebody had both things at the same time.
Well, I'm sure it totally happens.
You could get 2 viruses at the same time, couldn't you? I mean, I don't know if the symptoms would cross over or not.
I mean, lots of people get bacterial and viral, like pneumonia, at the same time. Same thing with flu.
But viruses usually they have defenses against each other. So oftentimes one will take over and it'll fuck the other one up. So I don't know.
What is it called when you're like throwing up and like going to the bathroom for like a week
at the same time?
I think it's called dying.
Is that dysentery?
It's called quit drinking.
It can be dysentery.
The last time I got sick was like that. It was the worst I've ever been sick in my life, and I don't know what it was.
That could have been botulism too, though.
Food poisoning. Yeah,
it could have been food poisoning. It could have been flu too if you're just throwing up and on the bathroom a lot.
They used to call the stomach flu is different than like what you think of as a flu, though. That's just a kind of a little bit of a misnomer, really, but it's a stomach virus.
I've had food poisoning before, and I don't think it was that, but yeah, it was weird. I don't want to be sick like that again. It sucked.
Yeah. Well, that relates to that pangenome talk we had yesterday with E. coli. There's all kinds of different versions of it, and there are some that can kill you, and others that you absolutely need in your gut, that sort of thing. But you get one of those badasses, and your system is really good at cleaning itself out, and that's what's happening. It's a good thing.
I'm glad that I just work from home and don't ever go outside because
it seems
like the world is ending.
Keeps us pale, nice and pasty.
Yeah.
If we had any doubts about about how white I am.
Yeah.
Emma is really pale in
her
videos.
I've been mainlining vitamin D. So
when does your Emma's video come out?
It's scheduled to come out January 22nd because it's gonna require some editing, and she wanted to have like she doesn't want to have like back-to-back videos about Kent on her channel. So she's got a video scheduled for next Saturday, and then the following Saturday, the way we're going to do it is part 1 of the video is going to come out on her channel, and then part 2 is going to be on my channel. That way, like, her audience will see part 1, and then to finish the video, they come and watch the second part on my channel. But it's going to be the raw footage of the video is on my Patreon now. If you want it, for anybody who wants to go see it, just saying.
And your Patreon's only $1, right?
So it cost me $1, eh? To see that shit. Yeah.
It's a 2.5 hour long video. So, I mean,
man, it's worth $1. I don't know.
Yeah. So it's Wednesday. Actually, we're gonna get. You might be getting whacked as we speak.
Well, I believe the video that's going to come out tonight is going to be Kent and I think Matt responding to that Zoom call on PZ Myers' channel, because he said that they filmed a video responding to that. So I can only assume that that would be the video that comes out for Whacking Atheists today. But yeah, I do have videos
presented
planned
a challenge to Kent yesterday too.
Yeah, I saw that.
If you saw that, if you haven't seen it, it's like a little 2-minute video. But just tell it, because the way that Kent's so thirsty for people with names he can glom onto to debate him, that he's just challenges everybody. So PZ issued a challenge to him.
Was a challenge to read that book on his channel,
the Coins book,
because I didn't see the whole video. I just saw like the first part of it, so I didn't know if there was more to the challenge than that. He's got like a Spider-Man sweater going on.
I love it.
Yeah.
Ugly Christmas sweater, I think.
Well, he likes spiders, so it makes sense.
I want him to come and teach me how to find spiders, because I was out looking for spiders for my microscope, and I had a hell of a time finding spiders.
PZ finds spiders in your neighborhood. He says he goes out and the old farms and stuff, and asks people if they can look for spiders in their barns.
Yeah.
That's why he said he stopped dyeing his beard, because he didn't want to be. He thought it was weird enough to go up to people's houses and asked to look for spiders in their barn, yet alone coming up with a blue beard and asking to look for spiders in their barns.
Yeah, having a blue beard is the worst.
I got a question about PZ Myers. Back in the day, it seemed like he got pretty big in the Atheism Plus thing. Is that still an issue with him? Or did he kind of give that up?
I'm not sure. He's got that Fringula blog.
Fringula is what I
would say blog. No.
Well, he's pretty outspoken, and he's very much into social justice. So he's gotten into a lot of trouble with a couple of people, and he has very, very rigid standards as to how you can fuck up with him. So
yeah, he's been speaking out about the trans stuff here lately too, and combating TERF. So that's freaking awesome.
Shit. That's a battle they're going to lose.
Yeah. Although see people
do not go against the women's lobby. You will lose. Period.
Do not go against TERFs.
TERFs?
The women's lobby in general.
Okay.
Seriously, man. I don't. You know what TERFs are? You know what a TERF is, don't you, Speed?
No.
Trans. Let's see if I get this right. Trans exclusionary radical feminist.
Yeah. So trans women are not women, and women are great.
But think about this: if you're a woman, can you put it on the big screen?
Oh,
I don't want to look at this dude's face. He's
you want to see Hovind? And
he's staring at me. Okay, all right. That, like, for example, my wife is a feminist. I mean, she's not a lesbian, but she's a feminist, and she absolutely understands these issues of like women's rights throughout thousands and thousands of years, and women's have been fighting for these rights, and then suddenly, and I'm not taking a side either way or another. I'm just saying a TERF's position is that Now, this is just another way of men coming in to take things away from women. And now you want to take the very thing, womanhood, away from women. And so that's a hard thing to battle against feminists. They feel like we've been fighting this battle for a long time. Now, I'm not taking this position, and I'm not against trans rights. But I'm just saying that a lot of people have those views. I mean, they butt up against each other. The TERFs and the trans folks who are maybe a little bit more open in terms of their trans rights perspectives.
Yeah, TERFs are stupid.
TERFs
They're not actually feminists. Can we watch the PZ video? I feel like we got
they're
way
definitely
off topic.
feminist.
Oh, we could.
TERFs are not stupid. Why do you call TERFs stupid?
Their position is just really dumb.
I gotta look this up.
TERFs are just feminists up until 2010.
What's their position?
Can somebody spell that for me?
TERF?
That trans women are invalid.
But I don't think
trans women aren't women.
I don't think they're saying trans women are invalid. I think they're
Okay,
saying. I think
saying
TERF, like the ground.
Saying that trans women are just men invading women's rights and feminist spaces is transphobic because they're saying they're not actually women.
Okay, first off,
they're not saying that necessarily. That's not that you just assume that. They're not necessarily saying.
No, that's what they say to me.
They're calling them men.
They say
you're making a broad generalization. I'm saying that TERFs have issues with the fact that women's rights have been taken away. Their rights have been taken away for thousands of years by men. Correct?
Right.
Okay. And now we have a movement that where the trans rights are becoming more dominant, and people who identify as a woman that may have been born a man, women who are feminists have been fighting for rights for women, and now from their perspective, they see men who are transitioning invading into their feminist spaces similar to the last thousands of years. I'm not
because they're putting them in that category of men and saying they're invading them. They should be. They're a part of the group that the women that have been getting their rights taken away. That includes trans women too.
Okay, well, let's get this very clear. They use a definition of woman that is adult female. A trans woman is not adult female. End of story.
How about
they're fighting for adult females,
but they don't fight for non-adult females, or what?
I mean, if you ask them, they say they do, but they kind of have a lot to focus on.
This is just all such bullshit. I mean, we're all different, right?
I just think that that trans women or trans people, trans activists are not doing harm to the cause of women's rights, in my opinion. And they say TERFs say that they are. Well, I disagree with that. So
TERFs say what?
They say that trans people or trans activists are harming the cause of women's rights. Isn't that what you said?
Well, you're making a broad generalization.
But isn't that what you just said?
I said some TERFs say that.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that's what TERFs are saying.
I'm not a TERF, but I think that's just obvious.
Repeat it again. Could you say what do they say again, AJ? What do TERFs say about trans?
Well, that trans activists or trans people are doing harm to the cause of women's rights or invading the spaces of women's rights.
I would say that they can. I'm not saying that all activities by trans individuals cause harm to feminists, to that space. But it can, and it has. I mean, there have been those situations, but it's not an all or nothing.
I'll take the strong stance and say they are. I mean, just having to defend more intellectual ground is going to be harder, which could be perceived as damage, and then tacking on a bunch of things that are essentially a feeling. That's going to be really hard to show in any meaningful way, and everyone's going to lump that together with what was feminism before 2010. It's going to make it much more difficult.
Well, I mean, trans people existed before 2010.
Oh yeah. They just didn't have an argument then. They didn't have the ability to argue. They didn't have any sort of ground to start from.
Yeah, they didn't have a voice because they're.
Yeah, I know Posey Parker,
a minority.
And I mean, I watched it happen. They got a voice because they attached to the feminist movement, and they got a voice because they attached to the gay movement, and they got a voice because they attached to the black movement.
Am I going to get canceled over this conversation?
Maybe.
Probably.
Maybe.
Really?
Fuck.
Really?
I'm not even participating.
Why are we saying they attach to these movements? I mean, weren't they?
Intersectionality.
Been part of those that movement? Haven't they been part of that movement since the beginning?
No, not really. I mean, I'm sure there's been trans people in the movement, but trans rights hasn't been a thing until they attached conceptually to those other movements.
I'm pretty sure it was people of color who started these movements. They didn't get attached to them after the fact.
Oh, I mean, they didn't.
Wrong
they didn't start the feminist movement. Definitely not.
No, but the movements are for trans rights and gay rights.
Isn't this kind of, I don't know, isn't this kind of similar to the, if you prescribe to Black Lives Matter, then obviously you mean blue lives don't, or some fucking thing like that?
That's just that stupid back. I mean, strategically, it was really dumb not to adopt All Lives Matter and then just imply that the one we're focusing on is black. But that's just a strategic thing.
Yeah, but Black Lives Matter says something specific about a specific fucking problem, that does matter. And so if you want to concentrate on one minority or one, even a majority, like women that are being discriminated against, I mean, you can feel bad about all discrimination, right? But yet you can talk about one particular kind of discrimination and
that's my point
about it.
That's my point. Okay. They should have adopted the label All Lives Matter and then talked about only black issues.
Well, fuck. I think Black Lives Matter was a good label. I don't know.
I think it gave the opposing side something just to latch onto and beat them over the head with.
Oh yeah, of course. And then why are they latching on to? Why are they doing that? What the fuck is their point?
Isn't there quite a bit of discussion around? I forget what the phrase is, but it's like where you commandeer somebody's lived experience.
Yeah.
What's it called? It's got a.
I think it's performative. Wokeness or something like that.
There's a term for it. I forget, but it's like where
it's like co-opting something.
Yeah, exactly. As an example, let's use people who are of color. Like for many years, people of color, and they still are discriminated against in a variety of different ways. But recently, people see value in being identified as a person of color and want to take that on. Oh, I'm a person of color. My great grandpa was black, and therefore, I'm going to commandeer that ethnicity for myself, even though I'm white, and I go around and I can act white. I can say I'm black, and I commandeer that experience. The reason I'm mentioning that is that that's what I was thinking of, and I'm not saying that this is an exact comparison, but I could see how a TERF could feel that way. That women have struggled for many years, and now we're seeing yet another example of a man. And again,
it's not a man. I gotta go.
Adult male, get over it.
Yeah, okay.
Just say adult male.
It's language. Okay, so if you want to get upset that somebody who identifies as a female, and I say they were born as a male, okay, whatever.
But trans people don't dispute that fact. Like if somebody's a trans woman, they're going to say, "I was assigned male at birth."
Okay.
But TERFs will say like, "Oh, well, this person is just acting like they were never. They've always been a woman, and they think that they misrepresent." I've seen obviously people on Twitter are very stupid, but yeah,
I mean people will do that.
Did you guys upset Bug?
You could find individual situations.
I don't know.
But I don't think that's the case.
No. Me and Jason definitely upset Bug.
But now that we are hang on a second. Now that we are a panel of all white male,
well, you hold yourself, sir.
Straight people. Basically, I don't think we should even be talking about it anymore.
I'm native and super straight.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Jesus.
You're super straight?
Can we go back to the video we were going to watch?
I know people are bigoted against super straight people.
You're a native what, Cerberus?
Native American.
I don't really care about Hovind, so I'm gonna bail.
Yeah.
I'm sometimes homosexual for comedic effect.
Anyway,
he's misappropriating the gay.
Jesus Christ, I hope I don't get canceled over this fucking conversation. Anyway, okay. I think we should shoot it in the head, guys, on that note.
Hour, 20 minutes.
Yeah, we got an hour and 20 minutes. We're good.
I'll just respond to
rocks. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I'll just respond to a comment in the chat real quick. Of Snake was right. I was just saying what trans people that's what they say. Like that's the language they use. So I'm not taking a side on that. I'm just saying that's what trans women usually. That's the type of language they would use. So
yeah, you just got to keep in mind that when a TERF says woman, they don't mean the same thing as when a trans person says woman.
I wish I'd never heard of TERFs.
A TERF is any feminist before like 2010.
Just end it, just end it, please.
Yeah, okay, we're gonna end this shit. So yeah, before we dig our hole any deeper.
Yeah, good idea.
I apologize to anybody that was offended by anything out there. That's not our intent. I just don't want to discriminate against anyone. I don't give.
Can I just ask? Is there such a thing as a surf?
Yeah, there are surfs.
Surf and turf. Thank you.
Yeah, surf and turf. Okay, okay, guys, we're gonna end it. Goodbye, cruel world.
Take care, yes.
Penis.